Welcome back to TarHeelIllustrated.com, or if you're watching this on our rapidly growing YouTube channel, that's Tar Heel Illustrated. I'm THI staff writer Brandon Peay. Joining me today is our very own publisher, Mr. Andrew Jones. And we did a podcast earlier this week discussing the offense, but we decided to do a little separate side podcast to highlight two areas of improvement that UNC's offense has made this year. First area is fourth down conversion rate and red zone offense. These things, UNC is much better this year at winning close games, and I think these two components have a very big reason with why UNC are winning so many close games this year. What do you think, Andrew?
There's no doubt about it. The 2 points of one major point of emphasis in the offseason was red zone offense. Okay. Before we get to red zone offense, I want to hit on the fourth downs though. Fourth downs were as well, but I do think that their success on fourth down and their success in the red zone go hand in hand. And here's why. And we discussed this with our overall offense overview podcast that we did earlier. It's the tight end position and how effective the tight end position is. And it's not just one guy, it's three of them. And also Drake May's ability to see over the middle of the field. Phil Longo could call anything on a fourth down because his quarterback's going to see it. He can make those throws. And he's got tight ends that can run those routes and get open. But he's also, because they have to be focused on, he's also got Josh Downs. And he's also got Antoine Green. He's also got J.J. Jones. And they've now added the screen pass to part of what they do getting first downs, a screen to Caleb Hood. He's had 7 first downs in the last 2 games on screen passes. But the fourth down stuff, they're 12 of 16 this year on fourth down. Last year, they were around 57%, 58% converting fourth downs. They're at 75% right now, and they're going to go for more of them. So last year, I think they attempted 19 fourth down conversions. They're going to blow past that this year. They're going to be in the 30s. Maybe even higher, because I think the confidence is growing in their ability to convert fourth downs for the reasons I just outlined. The other thing is the red zone, Brandon. Right now, they're 28 for 30 scoring in the red zone. It's really 28 for 29 because Mac likes to point out the fact they took a knee at the end of the Florida A&M game. 24 of those scores have been touchdowns. A year ago, they were at 57.1% touchdowns in the red zone. This year, they're much higher, 24 out of 30 trips, 10 rushing, 14 passing, and they have 4 field goals in the red zone. The one failure was the fourth down at Miami early in the game when a lot of people said Max should have kicked the field goal to go up 10-0. They threw that little fade in the corner, then Drake threw the pass wide, and they did not convert. That's the only failure in the red zone. So when you're winning games by close margins, and certainly the road games have all been close margins, converting on fourth down and converting touchdowns in the red zone, that's how you win those games, Brandon.
Yeah. And another thing I wanted to point out about the red zone and the fourth down conversion is with North Carolina offense being as good and as aggressive as it is, it puts a lot of pressure on the other team's offense to maybe get out of character and do things that they normally wouldn't do, which is why I think we've seen an uptick in North Carolina's defense having success on those fourth and shorts, because if you have North Carolina going down the offense and scoring every single time, you know, I can't punt the ball and I can't kick a field goal. So usually a team that on 4th and 3, they would be happy to get 3 points, or they would be happy that they got a couple of first downs and punted the ball. When they face North Carolina, they have to do things that are out of their character. And they have to, and North Carolina going forward on fourth down so much forces the other team to go forward on fourth down more. But the thing is, North Carolina spent the whole summer practicing fourth down, short yardage situations. So I think that also gives North Carolina an advantage.
Case in point was Saturday night at Duke.
Yeah.
The fourth down conversion that Duke failed on its own 34, Carolina got the stop. And then that next possession was the trick play possession that a lot of people remember fondly. But that was still in the third quarter.
Yeah.
And it was just a 10-point game. And Duke went for it on its own 34. That's exactly what you're talking about. Now, the Tar Heels didn't capitalize on getting that stop, but that's a great example of what you're talking about. It's a really good point, Brandon. They're forcing teams to be a little bit out of character and play a little stressed on offense. It's one thing to be stressed on defense, and that never works out well. It's another thing to be stressed on offense. And I think they did that to Duke. Now, they didn't capitalize, If they score a touchdown there, they end up taking over, I think, at the 31. If they score a touchdown there, then that game is based. It's not over, but it's close to being over, right? Mm-hmm. They kind of let Duke back in by not capitalizing in that situation. But that's a great example of it. And really, I'll do this when I grind numbers. When the season's over, I'm going to go back and look at the percentage of times teams went for it on fourth down against them versus going for it against other teams. Now, part of that might be they just think they can convert because Carolina's defense is not that good. That might be part of it too. But I do think what your point, it makes a lot more sense. You know that they're going to score. Carolina could score from anywhere in the field. They've had 4 touchdown drives of 90 or more yards this year. I believe on each of those, they converted a fourth down, which is amazing. And then they know that when they get inside the red zone, they're getting points. So they really could stress teams a lot with what they do. And when you could convert in those stressful situations with those fourth downs and inside the red zone and get touchdowns, and they've got 10 on the ground. So they're running for touchdowns as well inside the red zone, which wasn't the case really last year at all. That's huge. And I think that's a big reason this team is 6-1. People could talk about Drake's passing yards and all that kind of stuff, but when you convert on fourth down and when you get touchdowns, when you get in the red zone and you're playing a lot of close games, that's how you get to be 6-1. That's how you're 3-0 in the ACC. And that's how they're 4-0 on the road, because they had a lot of red zone touchdowns in each of those 4 road games. And being able to get across the goal line is a big reason why they're 4-0 on the road.
I agree, AJ. That's an excellent place to stop this little short podcast. I thank you, everybody, for joining us. I've been Brandon Peay. He's been Andrew Jones. Thank you for watching.
Thanks.